So today is a very big day for the LGBTQ community, especially in America here. A lot of great things happening. Um, as you just probably saw, we just finished up. We just finished up another stream on the channel. For we're actually calling on Senator Rand Paul to resign immediately for his transphobic remarks. We'll get to that in just a second. Lots of great things are happening today. Some other stuff is happening too. But, all right, so here we go. Here's what's happening today. So, first off, tonight, if you're not aware, we have another, yet another stream going on. Midnight tonight. Everyone join us if you can. So tonight at midnight, we have our special guest, Marshall John Blount, on the show. He is an A-spectrum, which means asexual and aromantic spectrum activist. He's going to be on the show here tonight. We have a special interview with him coming up at midnight. It's about an hour and a half long, fully edited, but that's premiering on the channel here at midnight. So that's midnight Eastern Standard Time, by the way. So whatever time that is for you, a couple hours from now, it's premiering. So Greater Mountain Time, I believe, is 2 hours behind that. So I think like 10 o'clock for you-ish. The interview will be on the channel for forever. So like, if you can't join tonight, don't worry, but it's on the channel for the weekend. You can enjoy it over the whole weekend. So other things are happening today. In the United States, there's something, oh, I forgot completely about the light. But there's something called the Equality Act, which is the most sweeping piece of legislation that has ever happened in the United States of America. And I know about, 65 to 70% of our viewers now are from America, so this affects you directly. But basically what's happening is this sweeping piece of legislation protects LGBTQ Americans under the federal law, which means you can't, if you're a federal agency, if you're in a federal building, if you're an employer, basically, you can't discriminate against LGBTQ Americans. It also means that transgender people are allowed to use the appropriate restrooms. They're allowed to use the be in the appropriate sporting programs in all schools in America, period. End of story. Like, there's no debating it at the school level. It's federal law, you know? So if it passes, that's what's going to happen across the nation, in all 50 states and all U.S. territories, which includes Puerto Rico, so on and so forth. Huge, huge piece of legislation. Is the first of its kind in America. This piece of legislation, we've talked about it before on the show. It's going to, it was on the floor of the House since like 1980 something, I believe. It's been, or 60 something. It's been generations that it's been voted on and not voted on. It's been out there for a long freaking time, and the United States House of Representatives never voted on it, never took it to the floor, never actually said, yes, here you go. So the way a law works is it has to be proposed in the House first, then it goes to the Senate, then it goes to the President, then it goes to the Judiciary Bench, which means the Supreme Court. I'll explain all that in a second. I know, it's a lot to take in. But last year what happened was the United States House of Representatives, which is Democratic controlled last year as well, they passed H.R. 5, which is the Equality Act. It's nicknamed the Equality Act, but the official name is H.R. 5. Anyway, it was passed last year, and then it went to the Senate. But because last year the Senate was controlled by the Republicans and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell didn't agree with H.R. 5. He didn't agree that it should be law, and he was very homophobic and transphobic. He's just that type of person. So he decided, well, we're not even going to bring it to a vote. Because apparently that's a power you can have as a Senate Majority Leader, which is crazy. But Oh, I'm trying to read all your. So basically, as Senate Majority Leader, you're allowed to just not pass a bill or put it. Basically, there were enough senators that co-sponsored the bill last year, which means co-sponsoring basically means you're ensuring that you would vote yes to it and you would pass it, right? There were enough senators in the U.S. Senate that said they would co-sponsor it, that it would have passed. But Mitch McConnell, one person, didn't agree with it, so it was never brought to the floor of the Senate for a vote, which means it basically died in the Senate. And so for a whole year, we had to wait. Great, you know? And this year, Democrats control the House and the Senate. So today, what happens at the end of the year on December 31st, if a bill didn't even go to the floor for a vote in the Senate, it immediately goes back to the House for the new term of people, because people get replaced every year. So in the House and the Senate. So it goes back to the House, and basically the House gets to decide again whether or not they want to pass it. Well, today on February 25th, this is the day when the House of Representatives in the United States is set to take a vote on the Equality Act again. Now, here's what's really cool about it. House control. How many? I should have probably looked at this up before. House. Yes to it. It's just very, very expected. And some Republicans have already said yes to voting for this, because here's the thing, 83% of Americans support this legislation, not including LGBTQ people. So if our House of Representatives didn't actually vote yes to this, they'd be in a lot of trouble next election season, because they're not listening to their voters. So here's what's happening. It's gonna pass the House of Representatives today. It's only a matter of, I think, an hour until they take the vote here today on the actual HR 5 bill. So what's happening with it? They could do the filibuster, but it's totally not expected in the House, at least. The filibuster is more of the Senate thing right now, because it's in the Senate. The Democrats have 50 seats and the Republicans have 50 seats. So Kamala Harris, which is the vice president of the United States, she takes the deciding vote on it, and she's a Democrat, so she's going to vote yes to it. So in the Senate, that's more of a filibuster thing. The House, pretty much everyone knows it's going to pass. You know, why filibuster something that has an overwhelming amount of support, you know? It's just not worth it for them. So basically, it's gonna pass the House today. And that means it moves on to the Senate tomorrow. And Senate Majority Leader now is a Republican. Chuck Schumer, I believe his name is. And his daughter is actually a lesbian and is married to her beautiful wife, and he is a huge spearheader of the Equality Act because his daughter is a lesbian and he wants to have her protected, and he understands more than most other people what kind of discrimination LGBTQ people face, because he sees it with what his daughter faces. So he's already promised it will get a vote on the Senate immediately, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So the Equality Act tonight will move on to the Senate. The Senate Majority Leader said he will put a vote up immediately for this thing as soon as it gets to him. So we're probably in the Senate. Immediately means not like tomorrow, it means soon. That's just the way legislation and the Congress works. But that means it will go to the Senate tomorrow. And here's the thing. The Senate does need some votes. It's not as simple as you think of a 50-50 split and, you know, Kamala Harris breaks the split and she's going to vote for the equality. It's not that simple. The two Democratic senators, from what we've heard so far, are going to vote no to this thing, which is just fucking wonderful. And they're going to have a really tough election next cycle because of this. But so the Republicans need to come through in the Senate for this thing. But luckily, some of them have already promised that. Now, if it does pass the Senate, which shouldn't take too long, but is still very much on the edge, you know, we're not going to count our chickens before they hatch with the Senate. House, we can pretty much say, guarantee it's going to pass. Senate, it's really 50-50 at this point, chance, you know. So we're really hoping so, but it should pass. If it doesn't pass the Senate, a lot of people in the Senate are going to have a very tough election cycle next time. And so that's good news for us because it means that should push them to vote yes to it. Now, then if it does pass the Senate, it moves on to President Biden, who said he would immediately sign the thing and immediately do it. So the day it gets to him, he should sign it. And if that happens, that means it passed the executive branch. And that means it moves on to the Supreme Court. And all a Supreme Court has to do is say that it's constitutional. And boom, it is law. And there's nothing in this bill that's unconstitutional. So, basically speaking, today is the vote for the House. Our biggest challenge is going to be the Senate for the Equality Act. That should be harder than we thought, but probably. I mean, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but here's hoping. And if it passes the Senate, it's become law, period. You know, like everyone else in the system has said they're going to vote for it. Like President Biden has said he was going to sign it. Supreme Court can't do nothing about it because it's not anything they can deal with. It's fully constitutional. So it's as good as law at that point. So as of the date of that President Biden signing, then schools across America would have to follow it as of that day, immediately, period. Another really cool thing happening today, kind of away from the representatives, right now in the Senate, there's also a confirmation hearing for Dr. Rachel Levine. So if you're just joining us right now, I just talked about the Equality Act, which is being taken a vote for in the House of Representatives right now, actually. They just opened it up to the floor as I'm watching here. So that's happening. But now we're going to, yes, elementary, every school, period. Public, private school, doesn't matter. Kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, every school in America, period. Doesn't matter. You'll be allowed to use the appropriate restrooms and appropriate sporting event teams from then on, if it passes once President Biden signs it, period. Then it becomes law. So, I mean, we could legitimately be looking at that by April, I would say. Conservatively, I'll hold it for April. But if it passes the Senate, we'll definitely be doing another episode on it to be talking about that. Now, it protects all LGBTQ Americans. We have a whole episode on the Equality Act, by the way. You can just search for Powered by Rainbow's Equality Act. And we explain it in more detail of like the history of it, what exactly it says. We go through exactly the wording of it, and that's what it actually says now, because it's the same exact bill, it's just another year. Um, so it technically says, it technically covers everyone, quote, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. So it doesn't matter if you're pansexual, transgender, non-binary, so on and so forth. Because there are endless combinations of sexual orientations and gender identities. So if you're LGBTQIA+, it covers you, period. So that's what's happening right now in the House. In the Senate, they're having the confirmation hearing for Dr. Rachel Levine. Now, if you haven't heard already, Dr. Rachel Levine is... who is in... what? 10% of the world is in the LGBTQIA+. So a lot of people. But Dr. Rachel Levine was the Pennsylvania Department of Health secretary. She was in charge of every doctor, every doctor's office, every hospital, everything medical related in the state of Pennsylvania, up until a couple weeks ago when she resigned. But she resigned for a great reason. Get to that in just a second. Now, she was the state secretary of health throughout this entire pandemic. She's been helping countless people. She's saved thousands upon thousands of lives. She's an incredible woman. But she's also the highest ranking member to ever be voted on and be transgender. She's the highest ranking transgender person ever in the state of Pennsylvania. So throughout this entire pandemic, she's been getting a lot of transphobic hate because people really don't have anything on her qualifications to go after because she has multiple degrees. So Dr. Rachel Levine has a degree from Harvard University and Tulane University, two of the hardest universities and most respected in the world. And she just happens to be transgender. And then, so when Governor Wolf appointed her a couple of years ago and nominated her to be the Secretary of Health, she had to go for a vote in the Pennsylvania State Congress, which means the House and the Senate both had to vote for her to be confirmed. And they did so unanimously. So a couple of years ago, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents in Pennsylvania all agreed. And Pennsylvania has one of the largest bodies of Congress in the entire country. We have more people on our representatives and senators than anyone else. So, than any other state. So, every single Republican and Democrat voted for her, even though she's trans, which is just incredible. But then what happened was this pandemic, and President Biden won the election, so he got into office, and immediately he appoints and nominates Dr. Rachel Levine to get a promotion to be the Assistant Secretary of Health of the United States of America. So if she is confirmed today, she will officially be the highest ranking member of the transgender community to ever serve in the United States government. Mind-boggling. And she deserves this promotion more than any other person I've ever heard of. She has faced so much transphobic hate, but done so much good and spread so much love. She's never responded to the hate with any hate of her own. She's always been so incredibly nice to people, even though there are people that genuinely hate her just because she's trans. And she's done that for months and months. And she's fought for saving people's lives, even though those people were transphobic. And it's just... it's incredible what she's done. And then she got this nomination. So she went to the United States Senate a couple weeks ago. And that's why she resigned from the Pennsylvania Department of Health, by the way, is because she had to go to the United States one. Sort of just how it works here in America, where you can't really take the new job until you quit the old one. because we still need a Department of Health secretary. So a new one was appointed and confirmed already. Anyway, she's on to the United States Senate right now, and she was meeting with all these different senators, getting to know them, answering all their questions privately. This is sort of what happens in a confirmation situation like this. The senators all get their own alone time with the nominee to ask them questions in a longer form, and then on a certain day and time, they go in front of the Senate for a full Senate hearing. And the senators are each given, I think, like 5 minutes or so to ask the nominee questions in a public forum where they want the answers stated on the record, not in those private meetings anymore, right? Well, that Senate nomination hearing for Dr. Rachel Levine was today. It started at around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here, and I've been watching it fully. But during that, Senator Rand Paul decided to make very, very transphobic comments and horrible questions, cited anti-LGBTQ hate groups and conversion therapy, and asked Dr. Rachel Levine to publicly state on the record that her own gender wasn't valid, which is just ridiculous. So, oh yeah, if you have to practice for color guard, go have fun. This will be here later. Anyway, so he asked her to publicly denounce her own gender live on air on the public record, which is just ridiculous and highly transphobic. So what ended up happening is she said thank you, and thank you for your interest, and I'm happy to work with your office in the future to help the trans community. It's like, in the face of this hatred and transphobia directed right at you from a senator, a United States senator, she's spreading love. She's spreading acceptance. She's saying thank you for your interest in transgender topics. And I just don't know what to say to that. Like, genuinely, can you be any better of a person than, in the face of that much hate, to spread love? I genuinely don't know anyone that can sit there with a straight face and not slap him across his head. I genuinely don't know anyone that wouldn't want to do that. And she composed herself, and she was so nice. And so that's why earlier today I was talking with my team here locally, and all of the organizations I represent, including the Pennsylvania Equality Project, Powered by Rainbows, and Schuylkill County LGBTQ Club, and many, many more organizations have all got behind my effort now, calling on Senator Rand Paul to publicly apologize to Dr. Rachel Levine and immediately resign from his office as a United States Senator, because this cannot be tolerated. And I know he's from Kentucky. I know his voters will say that it's perfectly fine because it's a homophobic area. But if we don't call it out when it happens, it's as if we're condoning it. It's as if we're letting people think that this is okay. And it's not. And that's the thing. With hatred to this level, we can't stop. We can't say, we can't just sit by and let it happen. We have to call it out every time it happens. Every time homophobia or transphobia makes its way anywhere, regardless of at what level, we have to call it out. Because the moment we don't call it out, that's the moment we get complacent that it's okay again to do these kind of things. Back in the day, it used to be okay, but it's not. It was never okay. But Years ago, it was accepted as okay because no one spoke up. Everyone was too afraid of being imprisoned. And now that we're able to, because here's the thing. When you think about what has happened to our community over the past like 50 some years, we've gained marriage equality. Let's go from the beginning, right? We were finally allowed to not be imprisoned for being gay in 2003, thanks to a Supreme Court ruling on, I believe, Lawrence v. Texas, I think it was. So because of the courts, we're not in prison for being LGBTQ anymore. A couple years later, 2015, all of a sudden, it's legal to get married as a gay couple or a trans couple. And marriage equality became the law of the land because of a Supreme Court decision on June 26, 2015. It took us until less than 6 years ago to get marriage equality. And less than, 18 years ago to not be imprisoned for who we are? That's ridiculous. And then just last June, I believe it was like June 10th or something like that. I'd have to look it up, but I believe June 10th. Supreme Court again ruled that employers can no longer discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. They can't discriminate against you because you're LGBTQ. That was just last year. Last June. Less than a year ago. And that's the thing. All of these things are Supreme Court decisions. They're made by 9 justices in the Supreme Court of the United States. They're not made by the lawmakers we hire, that we vote for, that we put in office. We put hundreds of these people in office. We vote for them year after year after year, and they don't do shit to help our community. They didn't do any of the major things, the great things that have happened to our community in the past 50 years. That was the Supreme Court. That was the judicial branch, not the legislative branch, and not the executive branch. And sometimes I just get pissed off that our tax dollars and our votes are going to people that don't do what we ask them to do. But today is a step in the right direction because we're hopefully getting the Equality Act soon. But yeah, we have to call this hate out because years ago, they didn't speak up near as much as we do now. And years ago, it was accepted because we cared, but no one else had to care. Nowadays, we're speaking up because we have to get these rights. And luckily, 80% of non-LGBTQ Americans support LGBTQ legislation like the Equality Act and the conversion therapy bans and making LGBTQ education mandatory in all schools in America, which would be incredible. So that's 2 of the reasons today is such a big day. Yeah, I get upset at legislation sometimes. I'm sorry. I also get upset at Senator Rand Paul for being so transphobic today. So like 2 great things are happening. Like Rachel Levine is, I believe she's like 100% gonna get confirmed, by the way, because I believe nominees to that department are only need a majority rule, which means there's 50 Democratic senators that would vote for her, and Kamala Harris would break the tie. Kamala Harris is one of the people who picked her, along with Joe Biden, because Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States right now. So, yeah, it's kind of fully expected she's going to get in. But it's still like, Rand Paul, like, seriously, she's gonna get confirmed. So why the hell why would you jump in front of a freaking moving bus and just, why? If it's gonna happen anyway, why speak up and be so hateful towards her? You're only killing your own career here, you know? And like, I think it was said the other day by a great person who I quote a lot on the show. His name is John Oliver. He hosts a show called Last Week Tonight. A lot of our show is modeled kind of after that show because I really love the way their show is structured. I just do the show here for LGBTQ. And so he said it the other day really eloquently of, I'm trying to like think of exactly how he said it, but he basically said like, this, if you're not gonna do it for other people, if you're not gonna be friendly to LGBTQ people for their benefit, or for the 80% of Americans who support the LGBTQ, at least do it for yourself. Because history will not remember you well if you go against human rights. History will not remember you well or speak of you kindly if you go against LGBTQ rights. This has happened time and time again, he said. How every time human rights are up for a vote and up for debate, those who go against it are not written in history very well or very kindly. And I think that is so beautiful to hear, because it's like these legislators and these transphobic and homophobic people, they're so self-centered most of the time. They don't think about how other people feel about the words or the actions they have. They only think about themselves and how they personally feel, or how they personally go about their daily life. And it's true. Time and time again in history, these people aren't looked at as good people. And so it just saddens me that like the legislators sometimes aren't even listening to their own conscience. Or science, which is always fun. Anyway. So, Dr. Rachel Levine is almost certainly getting confirmed today. Hopefully. I believe that's how it works. It just takes 51 votes. Could be wrong by that. But I believe she has enough votes to get in. Even if it does require 60, which sometimes it requires some Republican. So that should get voted on, and she should get in today, if not within the coming days. And the House, that should be passed today at the latest. So that's pretty cool. Then tonight, well, this week we're also celebrating Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week on the show. So we have an aromantic guy on tonight talking about the A spectrum and about Black Lives Matter and about so many things. We have a lot happening, like in 24-hour span here. What else? Oh yeah, and we just uploaded a 24-hour video to the channel, so that's cool. And that's me airing National Day of Silence in April, which is April 23rd, not April 9th. I was wrong about that. In the calendar earlier in the year, I was like, hey, it's April 9th. And then Glesson, the gay, straight, gender, sexuality, something, education network, they changed the date recently. So now it's April 23rd. Anyway, so we have a 24-hour video airing that day. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, and we have this coming month, we have so much planned. I asked you guys for topic ideas for the show. Like earlier today or something. You guys did an amazing job at that, by the way. We're still looking for more ideas. March, but people are like, can you just do this episode in March? And I'm like, March is already filmed. We're filming April stuff now. Looking for ideas for the future, like June. That's how far in advance we're working. But we love a lot of your ideas, so we'll definitely be implementing a lot of them. Also, there's 50 people watching right now, which is insane. Thank you for watching. While so many of you are watching, I'm gonna be like, hey, so the show is growing, and right now we're planning a trip to New York City for the show. We're also planning 2 different Pride events. One Pride event, which is at the Pottsville, PA Pride event again. We're filming that entire thing. We're also maybe going to do our own this year on the channel just for PBR. So that might be cool. We're thinking about that. Still in the planning stages. Don't worry. Nothing's concrete yet, but pretty cool. And I think it's next week. No, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, we're getting a new camera for the show. Don't tell my crew yet, because they don't know. So, the new camera, right about $2,000. It's crazy. But it's really good. No, I just really want a new camera for the show, because the camera that we're using right now for the show only records 30 minutes at a time, and most episodes take about an hour and a half to record the full script. So this new camera is a lot better quality. It's 4K camera instead of full HD camera, and it's also just, there's no recording limit on it, and it's gonna be a lot better for run and gun documentary style stuff, which we have a couple documentaries we're filming this year. Oh yeah, you'll see a couple documentaries on the channel this year. Should have probably told you that. So we're filming a lot of stuff this year. That camera will come in handy for. But yeah, it's like $2,000. So like, some of you have been asking why we opened membership on the channel. By the way, if you haven't already seen it or thought about joining, there's a join button right next to the subscribe button down below. You can join our channel as a member. And with that, at the 2 different levels, you get exclusive behind-the-scenes content, including like the bloopers from every single episode. You get the like behind-the-scenes look at a whole bunch of stuff. So, also, thank you so much for being here, Coffee Beans, and thank you for saying that you're valid. So, thank you. We always need to remember that. But yeah, we offer exclusive behind-the-scenes content to all of our members. We'll be updating them. By the way, if you're a Patreon member, we'll be updating the Patreon within the next couple days here, because we did notice a couple things. Years and years ago, we set up the Patreon for MHPTV, which is the broadcaster for this show. It's my company that makes the show happen, that paid for the show to happen all the time, right? So anyway, basically, we set up this Patreon years ago for it, and the perks for that are all like really good perks, but the perks for our memberships here on YouTube are also really good, but they were just set up a couple weeks ago, which means they're a lot more updated than the Patreon perks, because we want to offer people as much as we possibly can, because they're supporting our show and helping us make new content. So we sort of decided this week that no one complained about it, by the way, but if you're a Patreon member, you'll be seeing a lot of posts on your Patreon account in the coming days here because we decided to give you guys the same exact perks that the YouTube memberships have. So you'll be getting the same bloopers and the same behind the scenes access as the Patreon, as the YouTube members have right now for the same price. So you're just getting more for the same price as before. So we're not taking anything away from anyone. We're just giving more content to more people for those memberships. So a lot of that's going to be going on this weekend as we go through and update the Patreon. So look out for that kind of stuff. But if you want to see that behind the scenes content, please hit the join button down below and join the channel as a member. You'll get access immediately to all of our behind the scenes bloopers, fun little advance notice of what's happening. Right now we have the new song Valid. Our cover art is available for all of our members to see right now. And we're going to be releasing the music video for that earlier than anyone else gets to see it for our paid members. So that's all happening. Also, while there's like 50 of you here, super chats are available because we have a $2,000 camera to pay for now that the show desperately needed, but it is $2,000. So like, YouTube ad revenue, as we'll talk about in a couple weeks. We have an episode coming out on the how YouTube helps and hurts the LGBTQ community. And in it, we talk about how YouTube ad revenue for LGBTQ creators is nowhere near what it is for other people. So yeah, it's not as great as you think it is. So like, super chats are much, much appreciated. Anyway, now we sort of covered the Equality Act. We covered Dr. Rachel Levine's confirmation hearing, and we covered what's happening tonight at night with Marshal John Blount. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. I'm going to look at this screen now, which is where all of our comments are, but I'm still talking to you down here. Sorry. It's on my phone because, like, internet problems today. I just uploaded a 24-hour video last night, so my internet is not very happy with me. So I'm using my phone to live stream today because it's like, hey. Anyway, so Jaden asks, hey Matt, if everyone has a different fingerprint and people aren't hated for it, why are we hated so much? TT, we're not bad people. Yeah, I don't understand it either. A lot of it stems from years ago. Like, what we're dealing with right now is residual hatred that still survived from the older generations, because back in the day, you were never taught. Here's how homophobia and transphobia happen, right? Okay, so you're never taught in school that being LGBTQ is valid or okay. Back in the day, it was illegal, right? Well, you're never taught that in school. And then, pretty much, if you're gay or trans, you tried to keep it silent because you didn't hear about yourself. You didn't see yourself being represented on any kind of screen. You didn't hear about your own love or gender in music or in movies. You never really saw yourself being represented. Then the government was like adding on to that and adding validity to the hatred. And basically, it was back in the day, you could be imprisoned for being LGBTQ. Just for being gay or just for being trans, you were put in prison or put in an insane asylum. And that added validity to the hatred against us. And all of a sudden, you have this whole system that's stacked against the LGBTQ. It's stacked against us that made non-LGBTQ people think, wow, they're so weird for being gay. They're so weird for being trans, because that was how the system was teaching them to feel. Over the years, luckily, that all went away. It's no longer a system where you can be imprisoned in America for being gay or trans. So the government protections over the years have really helped our community. Again, all of those came from the courts, not the legislative branch, but it did help. And so now we have the government, hopefully very soon with the Equality Act, no longer condoning this discrimination. But hopefully very soon too, we'll have LGBTQ education in our schools, so that way kids are taught that being gay and trans is perfectly normal and valid and fine, and that it's not a sin to be gay or anything. So hopefully we'll have that too. And so just like years ago, how it started and how it occurs, we're taking those key elements and we're taking one of them away at a time, and slowly but surely you'll see that LGBTQ hatred go away. But yeah, I like the idea of that fingerprint though, because we all are different in that way. I just don't understand. I don't understand why people are like, I'm gonna hate you because you're different than me. Like, we're all different. Come on, you know. Hey Matt, if you would ever get a child, would you call them they them pronouns, or would you let them grow up with their gender assigned at birth and let them choose later? I've actually thought about that a lot. Not recently, but years ago. When we were looking up LGBTQ adoption, I would not adopt a child right now, by the way. I don't want to, like, make you feel like that's coming it's not coming right now. But sort of my plan for life has always been get a boyfriend, settle down with him, and get a house together, get a dog, because I desperately want a dog, and then my plan is to either get married to him first, or adopt a kid with him, or, you know, adopt a kid and then get married, vice versa. So I sort of want that picket fence life kind of thing. I know that's a cliche, but, you know, I dreamt a lot about that as a child, of like having my husband, you know, sleep with me every night, and living with him and making dinner with him. I had all these like really nice, happy dreams of just living with my husband and being with him, and we would have a dog and we would have a kid and we would have that picket fence life I was always, you know, taught about back in years ago. So I definitely want to adopt one day. I want adoption more than in vitro or that kind of thing, because I feel like, you know, saving a kid from bad parents or the adoption system is a lot more important to me. Certainly that's a conversation I'll have with my someday husband, and that's going to be our decision to make, and I don't want outside influences in that decision, but I lean towards adoption, at least right now. But yeah, I've often thought about, like, well, what would their name be? Well, if they're old enough, they would have their own name, and that would be the name that they're already used to being called. So I don't necessarily think it's right to take that away from them. But yeah, I would definitely, even the name thing, I would, unless they're old enough to really, really remember it, I would probably change it to something gender neutral, because I've gone through being gay, and that whole coming out process. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Today's a great day. Sorry, just a sad moment in the show. I was like, it's a really sentimental moment. We're talking about future plans. But no, I've gone through that coming out process, so I don't want to push any certain sexual orientation onto my child either, where I would never tell my child, or any child that I know, like, oh, do you have a girlfriend yet? Because it's like, no, then you're just supposing he's straight, you know? That's not fair, you know? I would never just do that to some kid, you know? Whenever, like, uh, whenever my sister says something to my nephew, who's like 4 years old now, and she's like, oh, is that your girlfriend? And I'm like, or you can have a boyfriend, shut the hell up. Like, don't just suppose he's straight. Like, this is what happened to me, and this is why I took 25 years to come out of the closet. Dumbass, don't do that kind of shit. You know, like, I really harp on her on this because of that. And she knows it, and she has lightened up on that. But I don't want to suppose their sexual orientation or their gender, because I know how harmful it can be. To suppose someone's sexual orientation, because I've went through that. But I also know a lot of trans people, a lot of non-binary people, and I'm very fortunate that I get to work with so many terrific activists now, but I've seen how the harmful effects of that. So unless they were like over 10 years old that I was adopting, probably I would want to adopt a smaller kid. For that reason, where I could, with my husband, we can name them something gender neutral, or that something like Sam that could be, taken in either way. With, it could be a boy's name or a girl's name. It could be a gender neutral. It's a name that could, legitimately be anywhere on the gender spectrum. So I would probably choose something like that, not necessarily that, but something like it. But again, that would be a decision for my husband and I one day. But yeah, like, that's somewhere I would probably like. I've often thought about it years ago, before I even started the show. I was like, well, I've seen the harmful effects of this, so I want my kid to not have one more hurdle to cross. You know what I mean? I want to give my kid the best chance, and I want to give my kid the best life I can. And part of doing that is allowing them to find their own path, but not have an extra hurdle to cross. I don't want to be another reason why they're not coming out, if they need to come out, or if it's a thing in those, like, years from now. I don't even know if coming out will be a thing, hopefully. Hopefully it's just, hey, Dad, here's my boyfriend. Like, who cares? Like, awesome, congratulations, son. Like, whatever. Or just one day your kid walks up to you and you're like, hey, could I, like, buy this dress instead of the suit? Great, here you go. Like, I want it to be casual like that. I don't want it to be that big deal that it is in my generation to come out. I think it's gonna be less risky to come out years from now than it is now, just because that older generation, like I said, is that residual generation that's still dying off, and there are some of them people that you're just like, I'm not too sad to see you go. What was it, last week? I don't know if you guys heard this, but a major radio show host, named, who is it? Oh, frick. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? He died, like, last week. Trump loved him, but that describes a lot of people. Who's his name? Rush Limbaugh, right? Rush Limbaugh died from cancer, and he had a very painful death, and so activists in our comments were like, but hey, kind of suits you, right? Because he was very homophobic and transphobic. Yeah, so, like, he had back when like HIV transmission was wild in our country, and when it was first starting, Rush Limbaugh had a series on it, a daily series on his radio show, um, uh, basically highlighting the gay death of the day, of like highlighting how another gay person died from HIV and AIDS that day, and he was celebrating how great it was that the gays are being exterminated from the earth. And it's like, what the hell? Who allowed that to be on the airwaves, you know? And I don't anyway, that's the thing, like he had this segment on his show every day, and then all of a sudden some of the stations that ran his show nationally said, this is a bit too much even for us, you know? And so all of a sudden they started pulling his show off the air and stopped syndicating it, which means they stopped paying him. And all of a sudden he's like, we should stop this series, like, because you're losing money now. You were perfectly fine with doing that segment before. Now you're like, well, now my bank account is actually feeling it, so I don't want to do that segment anymore. It's not the kindness out of your heart, Rush Limbaugh. It's that you realized you're making less money now, and you're losing sponsorships, and you're losing broadcasters. So it was atrocious of him to do this. But, you know, years later, they're handing him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest award a civilian can get, because he's such a great guy for doing this segment and all that. Fuck Trump. Anyway, he's out of office. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, and now Trump's like getting into a lot more legal trouble. Anyway, so skip forward a couple years. He has cancer, and he died a very painful death. And we're not going to celebrate his death, but I will say, the world is slightly brighter now. However you want to take that. So, anyway, more questions. I would love questions. Your school supports the LGBTQ community. Awesome. What? Do you have a GSA club? If you don't, we have a video on how to make one. 43 tips to starting a GSA club. Boop. Anyway, well, your school might not be supportive, but you're here, and we're all supportive. I was filling out I don't know if you guys saw the community post, but I was filling out a form on how to, on like joining GLESSON for the National Day of Silence as an organization, and they're like, how many members do you have in your GSA club? And like, it had like options of like, 1 to 5 people, 5 to 10 people, 10 to 12 people, 10 to 15 people, and then so on. The biggest option was like over 30 people, and I'm like, so we sort of have like 23,500 and some now. I guess over 30 would be the best answer. And so like, I emailed them, I'm like, what do I answer? And they're like, over 30? The form's not really made for GSA clubs that big. And I'm like, we're the biggest GSA club in the world. Yay. Anyway, advice on how to come out. We have an entire series on our channel for that. If you go to our channel, click on it, playlist tab, there's an entire series called Coming Out Advice. Or if you go to our website, prideclassroom.com, we just updated it 2 days ago. So there's a page on there called Coming Out Advice, offers all of our episodes on that, and a whole lot more resources for you as well. Prideclassroom.com, and click on the page Coming Out Advice. Bye, Wolfie. Thanks for joining us. I like how everyone had no problems with Nikki tutorials, but then what was that? I like how everyone had no problem with Nikki tutorials, but then when she came out as trans, everyone started having problems with her. Like, yeah. because you can be on yourself on platforms like YouTube until you say that you're that. It's like, I was on YouTube for a couple years before I started Powered by Rainbows, and it's like, no one had really any hate to say against me. I didn't have much of an audience, granted, but yeah, everyone's like, who cares? It's this guy talking about film equipment. And then all of a sudden I started this channel, and it's like the homophobes just came. We have an episode coming out 3 weeks from now on the true dangers of being an LGBTQ activist, of what's actually happened behind the scenes of this channel. So we've had our fair share of hate too. I understand Nikki Tutorial's stuff now, because of what's happened. It's really sad, but yeah, it's bad. Do you think there would be more of us if everyone grew up with the knowledge that they can be who they are and love who they love? So currently in the world population, it's estimated that about 5.6% is the last number I heard of the world's population is openly LGBTQ. And the same studies done by independent researchers that have no stake in the game in LGBTQ rights at all, they've researched this, and they found out that about 58% of LGBTQ people do not feel comfortable telling anyone that they're LGBTQ. So I think if it was more accepted, I think you would see a lot more people being open about it, but it doesn't change our sexual orientation or gender identity at all. So still, we make up 10 to 11, even 12% of the world's population. We will always make up that kind of percentage of the world's population, because that's sort of been the same for centuries now, as far back as the research kind of goes on it. But so we always make up the same number of people. It's just a matter of, whether we're open about it or not. So I think, the more accepted it is, the more open those other percent of people can be. And so the more you're going to see it, but it didn't change the fact that they were always gay, or they were always trans. So I hope that explains the answer there. Or I hope that answers your question. Why are people homophobic, though? Like, what's the point? Love is love. You're right. Kind of explained this earlier in the episode, but here's the thing. Most homophobic people, studies have shown, the more homophobic a person is, the more closeted they are. And so they're gay people. The more transphobic they are, the more insecure about their own gender they are, and probably they're somewhere on the spectrum. They just don't want to admit it yet. So there's that. Fun facts of science with Matt. We should have a segment for that. We've covered this on the show before with episodes. A lot of you guys are new subscribers, so I won't blame you for not watching the older episodes, but we have an episode about the scientific studies of science proves the more homophobic you are, the more gay you are, or the more closeted you are. I believe it's worded something like that. That's an episode on our channel. Mount, I have exciting news. My lover Ace were poly, and I meet his other lover, and it's very exciting. Awesome. Congratulations. Here's the thing. I've gotten this comment before on the show from someone else saying that I'm against poly relationships. I'm not. I'm very supportive. Love is love. I understand that more than anyone. But here's the thing. Like, I've heard people, because I've talked on the show before about my personal relationships of wanting to be exclusive with a boyfriend. especially on the X-Files series on our show, where we talk about my ex-boyfriends. On that series, I get called out a couple times of like, oh, you're against poly because you want to. I'm like, no, it's just I personally want an exclusive relationship. I'm not against other people having a poly relationship. By all means, whatever makes you happy, just do you and be happy. Whatever makes you happy. And if you don't want to be in a relationship with anyone, you're asexual or aromantic, great for you too. I'm a demi-romantic. Sorry, I'm a demisexual gay, which means that I don't see. There's a good question. You're like, what is that? What's demi-gay? Well, I nicknamed it like demigod because it's just funny, but you shouldn't do Matt unless you're my age, and if so, hit me up. Anyway, no. Demi-gay basically means that demisexual or demi-romantic. It means by definition, demisexual means you don't feel a sexual attraction towards someone until an emotional relationship or emotional bond with them is already formed. Meaning basically you want to start a relationship with them first, and the more attracted to them you are emotionally, the more physically attracted you are to them. So for me, it's not exactly that. For me, it's like, demi-romantic, sort of like the same way, where it's like, you're not romantically attracted to them until an emotional connection is formed first. So sort of like that, but I'm from the mindset, because again, demisexual and demi-romantic are a spectrum. I'm on that spectrum. I'm not necessarily to one complete side there, where basically I want to go on a couple dates with the guy first before I really do anything physical with him. And I'm like, yeah, if you drop your pants on a first date, it's over. Like, goodbye. I don't want that, you know? I want to get to know you first. And I'm not at all okay with the hookup scene. I don't mind other people who are involved with that scene. I don't mind dating someone who used to be a part of that scene. But the moment you're with me, period. And sex is like off the table for a couple weeks, you know? But I always like tell guys in like the initial like chat with them, I'm like, hey, so like I don't do hookups and I'm demisexual, but like after a while in a relationship, and when those things start, yeah, I'm a complete slut, like totally. But like if you're willing to wait a couple weeks, then fine. But no, like if I just met you, sorry, you're not gonna be my person. And maybe that's why I still hold a V card, but I'm very happy with, or I'm not happy with that, but I'm proud of that fact, because I'm like, yeah, no guy has been good enough for that yet, you know? And that's fine with me, you know? I'm a lot dirtier than a lot of people think. People watch the show and they're like, Matt, you're so sophisticated. I'm like, it's a scripted show. That some of the episodes aren't even written by me now, you know? I'm like, it's a very scripted show, whereas like in my day-to-day life, I'm very, very dirty, and people are like, wow, you make a lot more dirty jokes than you do on the show, and I'm like, yes. Because I love milk jokes, bone jokes, anything to do with that. I'm all for it. But YouTube very quickly does not like non-advertiser friendly things. So, yeah. But, so if you ever see me in real life, you know, I might make a joke or two. Sorry. But it's okay. I'm 28 years old, so like, you know, I'm allowed, because I'm old enough now. Also, I don't make dirty jokes too much on the channel here, because there's kids that watch, and I don't want to push sex on to younger people. I think it's something where we can teach gay sex ed on the show very soon here, which we're scripting out now, but it's something where we're not going to be like making dirty jokes. You know, it's like just not going to happen too often. Anyway, what do you call a gay dinosaur? Oh, I know this one. A gay dinosaur. Oh, I've heard of Velociraptor, which is a bisexual velociraptor. I don't know, silly. A Megasaurus. I like that. Yeah. I remember. You've watched our episode on gay jokes. One of the most popular episodes on the channel. I don't know how. Also, I legitimately, people are like, how did you become so famous? I'm like, first off, not famous. Secondly, this show is not about me at all. It's about education. Thirdly, I don't know why the episodes that do well. I still don't understand it. Like, I go to like the top videos and they're all like, how? Why that one? But yeah. Although, so my dad makes fun of me all the time. He thinks it's funny. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't ever get me wrong. My dad is 150,000% supportive of me. He is very supportive of the channel and what I do here. And he is very supportive of me wanting this to be my career one day, of just being an educator online and helping people. He definitely sees this as a viable career option. But he jokes with me, and him and I have this relationship where we can joke, and I understand he's accepting. I understand it's just a joke. But he's like, you know, it's kind of funny that like the top like 2 or 3 videos on our channel are all about LGBTQ flags and understanding what they all mean. And he's like, that just proves how confusing it must be to be gay. Because, like, you know, that just proves how many people need to know what all these flags mean. And I'm like, that's very true. Being gay is so hard. Like, beyond the homophobia and all the hate we receive and discrimination, it's like, do you realize how hard it is being gay? We have to remember 95 pride flags. We have to remember like 259 holidays. We have to remember, what is it, 160 some color combinations of the gay handkerchief code. There's so much to remember being gay, let alone homophobia. So it's like, every time I talk to a homophobe or whatever, like, we have a fun little thing coming on I can't give you everything away. But no, we have a great video coming out in May, I think, on the channel. That we I filmed it the other day. We're like that far ahead. But we have to be. June is gonna be crazy. So anyway, it's a fun little thing. But last time I talked to a homophobe, I'm just like, do you understand how hard it is being gay? And he's like, oh, was that a pun because you like hard bones? And I'm like, no, just it's genuinely difficult being gay. There's so much to remember. What? It's weird to fight Okay, so here's how the debate with homophobes go, and then we'll get to the transphobic thing, right? So like, homophobes are like, being gay is a sin. No, it's not. Look it up. We have religion on our side, okay, buddy? Like, but I believe it's a sin. Technically, freedom of speech is a thing, but that doesn't mean freedom of consequence. There are, like, every which way you go with homophobia, it's like, but being gay is a choice. No, it's not. It's proven by our DNA, buddy. Like, there's been hundreds and hundreds of studies on this. It's a scientific fact. Being gay is in your DNA from the moment you're conceived to the moment you die. Like, period. Science proves that being gay is valid, right? Or bisexual, or whatever your sexual orientation is, right? And then you hop on over to like the transphobic side, and you're fighting a transphobe, and you're like, but like you can't change your gender, and it's like, what? No, they never did. Like, you realize transgender people are transgender from the moment they are born, right? Like, gender's determined up here, not down there, buddy. Like, and secondly, why the hell y'all worried about what kids' genitals look like? Who the hell is asking that question? And why are we not putting them people in prison? Like, there's a if the Equality Act doesn't pass, there's a bill in Arizona right now, right? That we just heard about the other day, and I was gonna make an episode on it, but it's like, it's not big enough to make an episode. Anyway, so Arizona has this bill that's like, you'll have to show a licensed physician your genitals before you can compete in a sporting program or go into a certain bathroom in Arizona, and it's in if you're in school only, not like as an adult. But if you want to be a part of a school sporting program, you have to show a licensed physician your genitals as like a 5-year-old. And it's like, who the fuck is writing this? It's like, wait, so hold on. You're the people that are these homophobic and transphobic people are the ones that are like condemning the gay community of being pedophiles all the time, and they're like, you're all just a bunch of pedophiles, how dare you? And it's like, first off, none of us are pedophiles. Secondly, you're the one asking to see little kids' genitals all the time. So like, what? Like, stop condemning us of being something that you are internally. Maybe fix yourself first. Then worry about who the fuck I'm fucking, right? Technically speaking, who the fuck I'm getting fucked by is more of my... Anyway, and there's kids here. Anyway, yes, Arizona, the butthole of America. That's a good one. I love that. But yeah, like it's really weird. It's like, I have no idea why they propose. It's not going to pass. They know it's not going to pass. But it's still like, okay, think about this for a second. Like, forever in history, this lawmaker is going to be written into history as the guy who wrote down the words, I want to see your genitals. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's how you want history to remember you? Okay. Wow. It's hard. Like, this is what that guy wants, apparently. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand homophobes or transphobes. I genuinely don't get it. Anyway. So, how y'all doing? Saw a video saying that the acceptance movement would lead to necrophilia and pity. Oh, God. No. So, that argument is called the slippery slope. I totally fucked that up, and it sounds so much funnier. No, that argument is called the slippery slope argument, where it's like, if this happens, it's going to lead to much worse things. And it's like, statistically, that's never happened in any case where the slippery slope argument has ever been brought up. When I was in school during my gay days, the kids always called me a girl, but now that I'm trans, they call me a boy. Wait, do you want to be called a girl or a boy? Your name's Starlo, so I'm like, I don't know. Sorry. I got confused. Who's your favorite Matt Names YouTuber that isn't you? I don't know. I don't know many Matts that are YouTubers. Matthew Santoro, maybe? I used to watch his videos all the time. I don't anymore, but maybe that. Um, Mostly nowadays, I'm watching. Uh, what am I watching? Good lord, what am I watching? What did I watch this morning? Don't say it. I know what you're gonna say already. I know it. Don't say it. Don't say it. uh, Matt Pat. I haven't watched that yet. Okay, so I watch Scrapman, Con Gaming, Slogo, Jelly, Blitz, Linus Tech Tips, Cosmonaut, Dre, Last Week Tonight. Last Week Tonight's really good. Philip DeFranco, Gray Still Plays, Frontline PBS, Craner, Neebs Gaming, Alec Benjamin, Adam Savage, Tested, Good Mythical Morning, Fail Race, which is very LGBTQ friendly, by the way, if you haven't seen our community post recently, because they recently just shouted us out. Rebellious Pastry, Saturday Night Live, Smosh, Odin Wolf, great furry YouTuber, by the way, fantastic YouTuber. Peter McKinnon, Nito Flow, which is Odin Wolf's other account. Fluke the Husky. Fluke the Husky. Oh. His relationship with Tyrox, I freaking love. Both furry YouTubers, fantastic people. The Try Guys, Bright Sun Films, Majira Strawberry, Stormy Fulf, Beta Etta Delota, What's the Safe Word, Capo, Burning Earth Productions, Aiden Robbins, Reading Pride Celebrates, which I'll actually be on their channel in a couple weeks. We did a collab, or we're doing a live collab. Beautiful OB, Spy Cakes, Philip DeFranco, My Utz, Kevin McHale, Film Riot, Marshall John Blount, which you'll see his interview tonight, The Proper People, Moonbow, Blake Grigsby, Casper Lee, Griffin Hammond, Ethan Heathcote, John Bain, Komodo Gaming, Jack Meridew, great YouTuber, from Allentown, PA, right down the road from us, Indie Mogul, DSLR Guide, Taylor Swift, Nuke's Top 5, who I've been told I sound a lot alike. Connor Franta, great YouTuber. Again, I want to have him on the show so bad. Grayson Chance, Benny, Nick Horton. Nick Horton is a fantastic gay YouTuber, by the way. Smoho Yo. Smo Yo Ho. Anyway. Troy Sivan, Ash Coyote, who I really want on the show very soon, because she's an amazing trans activist and also furry YouTuber and documentarian. Fantastic films on her channel. If you haven't already, go check her out. Great Big World, Miss Benny. Yeah, that's what I follow. So those are the YouTubers I pretty much watch. I have watched Joey. I think I know who you're talking about. Hold on. Joey Gracifa. Um, what? Might have. Is he the guy who does like music videos? Or is that? I don't know. Oh, that's his gaming channel. Hold on. I think I think he does like music videos and stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, he must, right? He does like gay music videos. You just go here and you love our channel. Oh, thank you. Well, we love you right back. My internet is crap today, so but I have watched Joey stuff in the past. I will tell you that. Uh, anyway, any other questions we have? Yeah, I remember he was like in the one music video was him like dressed as a prince going through the forest, chased by some dark cloud or something like that. Yeah, I love that. I just can't think of the name of it now. But yeah. Are you dreaming? I don't know. Are you? How do we know? How do we know we're not all dreaming? And this is all a dream. I will tell you, for the past like what 9-10 months, when this channel was like exploding, I've been like, I feel like I'm dreaming sometimes. That we have this many amazing students. But yeah. Today's just been a little tough, but this made it a little better, thanks. Aw. Well, we're all here to support you. So, I'm glad we can be here for you. Boop, boop, boop. Are you sure it's passed? I can't find any news on it. Am I sure what passed? The Equality Act? It's in the House of Representatives as we speak, being voted on. So it should pass by the end of today. This Speaker Pelosi, which is the Speaker of the House, she's the head of the House of Representatives and determines things like this. She said that it should have a vote no later than the end of day today. So that's happening right as we speak. So you might not see news of it right now because it's happening live right now. But hopefully by the end of day today, you will see some news articles a lot all of a sudden that the Equality Act passed the House. Then it goes on to the Senate. Senate is a little more iffy whether it's not going to whether it's going to pass or not, but the Democrats lead the House lead the House and the Senate right now. So it should pass there, and if it doesn't pass the Senate within a couple weeks here, there's going to be a lot of people calling their senators about it. So, including me. So, there's no reason why the Democrats shouldn't be able to do this time. If the Democrats aren't able to pull it off right now, then there's a lot of re-election campaigns that are going to be very fucked up from it. And the Democrats know that. So, it's like, vote yes, or just don't have a job ever again. Which all of us are okay with because you don't support LGBTQ rights. Do you know of any good documentaries on LGBTQIA history? Do I know any? I genuinely love getting questions like that. Hold on. I will look one up and show you. Oh, I love moments like this. Wait, where's that? Hold on. I just gotta get the right screen. Hold on. All right, here we go. Ready? You ready for this? All right, how do I turn the camera? Okay, hold on. Do I know of any short films or documentaries about the history of being gay? Blake, being gay in 1946 compared to now. An LGBTQ short film. Boom. There you go. I love when I can do that. No, there's a lot of great ones. There's also Pretty Boy. Oh wait, we shit. We have another one. Called. It's like the first video on this channel. It's one of the first. What is it called? Pride, I think? I don't know. Hold on. Seriously, what's it called? But there's also Pretty Boy on YouTube. There's a couple great ones. Oh, Him and I. Him plus... hold on. Here we go. Literally. Him and I film on our channel. It was the first video we ever posted. By the way, this is what I see every day. A creator studio. But yeah. So there's two great LGBTQ history films on our channel. But there's also... And Him and I film features a lot of other great documentaries that we highly recommend. So just go to that one and you'll see a lot of great ones. So yeah, there's a lot of them. Anything else? What other questions? Oh, we love you. We love you too. Thank you. I'm probably talking to someone else and not me, but have you been watching Kippo? Opinions? If so, what is Kippo? I have no idea. Thanks, I only subscribed a little while ago. Well, welcome to the channel. We got a lot of new subscribers recently. Because we were shouted out by Fail Race and Fluke the Husky kind of like did a thing with us. So, not like... Stop. But no, I have no idea what Kippo is. So after this is passed, it will be a really bad... What? It will be really bad to assault me if I use the male bathroom. It's still bad now. Like, it's still illegal to do that now. But, yeah... Here's what it protects against with the whole bathroom thing. And we have a transgender person coming on the show next month on Trans Visibility Day, which is March 31st. We have that already lined up. So they're going to be talking more in detail on the bathroom and sports thing. But I've spoken with our lawyers on this part, and to our legal understanding of it, it means basically if you're in a private business, you can still get a little bit of discrimination for using the right bathroom, but because that's a private business. But if you're in a federal building, if you're in a state building, if you're in If basically if you're in a government building, if you're in a school, if you're in a publicly owned building somehow, um, all of that is like, yeah, you're allowed to use the appropriate restroom, and no one can tell you otherwise. That's what this bill protects against. Being assaulted in that bathroom has always been illegal. So if that ever happens to you, or if it did happen to you, report that to the police, and that it's always been illegal. But you're just, you don't have to be like worried about using the appropriate bathroom now. It's like, just go to the bathroom like everyone else. And this is, I spoke about it with the trans activist on that upcoming episode a little bit, but it just baffles my mind how people are like, how this whole debate goes of like, oh, you also depends on the state, of course. Many states have adopted stronger protections. That's true. If the state has stronger protections than the Equality Act, then the state law takes precedent. But if the state doesn't have as many legal protections for LGBTQ people, then the Equality Act would take precedent there. So you're right, it does depend on the state there. Some states have already done, most states have done this because they listen to their voters. Weird. And then it's like, why is it always you southern states? Like, you see the map and then you're like, why is it always you guys? Like, it's like, anytime you have like anti-LGBTQ things happening, and then you look at the map of where it's happening, you're like, Florida, come on. Like, it's always you, Louisiana, it's always Kentucky, it's always Arizona, it's always the same people. So looking at maps is funny for me. Anyway, such as making it more illegal to assault you. Yes, it's still a hate crime. Where you live. How is Becca doing? She's doing, I wonder if I can tell you guys. She has big news. I don't know if, well, she got a nose, something right, a piercing here now, so she's happy. And then, she is dating, not really I don't know what you call it, but boys, they're, don't know, anyway, but she's doing good. I can say sorry for Texas, though. It won't do much. Yeah. Becca is my best friend in the whole world. She's my bestie. She's been on a couple live streams with us so far, and she even has a couple. Even has a cult on this channel. Like a cult, like everyone I bring on as a guest has like a cult like following, and then it's like, Matt, you're the host, and I don't get a cult. But every time she's on the stream, there's a bunch of like fire symbols in the chat room because everyone loves her. But yeah, literally, Becca has saved my life more than once. So without Becca, I wouldn't be here. So I owe her a lot. And I've just recently, she reminded me that I've done the same for her back in high school. So we're very good for each other. But she's a very good ally of the LGBTQ community. She went with me to my first ever Pride event, and she's very accepting of me, and I always talk about boys with her. She taught me how to be a better boyfriend to my ex-boyfriends back when I was in that relationship. So she's been good to me. And I stay good to her because, have you seen this short LGBTQ film called Out on Disney Plus? No, I haven't. I don't have Disney Plus, I'm sorry. I can't afford that. I mean, if you super chat enough money, then, but no, I don't. I don't have Disney Plus, I'm sorry. But it must be a good film if it's called Out. There's a lot of good Disney movies that are LGBTQ friendly. Who was it? They just Oh, Blue's Clues just came out with an entire music video with LGBTQ flags in it, which was pretty cool. And Blue's Clues is like a very children. Hi, Rebellious. Hi, I saw you for a while now. I'm sorry. One of my mods is on. Rebellious Pastry's on, and What? Do you have something to share? That you're like, Matt? Becca, is the coolest person in the world. She'd light up the world. She does, which is why her cult is called the Fire Cult. Then, yeah, she's very cool. Have you ever dreamt of being a gay pirate and not caring about the mouse's... What? Have you ever dreamt of being a gay pirate and not caring about the mouse's ownership over ideas? What? I don't understand that. I will change a few words. And bye, Amber. Thanks for joining us. Oh, meek. Not caring about the meek. Meese? What? I don't know what a gay pirate is. I know what a gay puppy is, and I'm that, because I'm a furry, but what? Puppy. I always have them there. What do you... I'm sorry. I didn't get that. I will change a couple words in that, though. And make it something where I actually did have dreams about it. Have you ever dreamt of being a gay privates and not caring about your owner's ownership over you? That would be a true statement. Someone's gonna clip that out now, and I'm gonna highly regret saying it. Well, if you pirate stuff, you would be gay pirate, because you're gay. Okay. I want to be a gay pirate, but I would probably get weird looks from people. Rebellious. Thank you for being excited. No, gay people shouldn't get weird looks. We just like rainbows. Did you know that rainbows aren't actually... How do I explain this? I heard all/most pirates were gay and had, like, at-sea marines. Oh, at-sea marriages. Very, very possible. And, I mean... Someone asked me, I know I'm getting distracted so easily here, but someone asked me about, would you date a sailor, right? And I'm like, why wouldn't I, you know? Because, like, you know what they say about sailors? They have a lot of sea... What? Rebellious is probably really mad at me right now for making a semen joke. I'm sorry, Rebellious. But probably they're gay. It's very possible. Back in those days, it was pretty accepted. But history is very fun to look at. Pirates don't get a lot of weird looks around here because there's a big local pirate LARP community around here, and they party much. Put on a pirate version of a Renaissance fair and a few times a year. Awesome. I heard gay. Yes. Hello. But yeah. Your guest has good content too. Oh yeah, Marshall John Blunt tonight. Yeah, Yeah, he does awesome content. Um, uh, my country has little to no LGBTQ protection, and my town, especially my part of it, is really LGBTQ phobic. Hate crimes happening often. Oh, geez, where do you live? Well, that's a weird question to ask. But, what country are you talking about? Yeah, it was okay to be gay back in pirate times. Pretty much every time in history, it's been okay to be gay. Except for like 50 years ago. Really, back in like, okay, you gotta understand, like, the more you search through history, when the settlers came to America, there were a lot of gay people who were like, let's start our own neighborhood, as we talked about in our neighborhoods episode a couple weeks ago, or last week. But then there were a lot of people who were like the Puritan value people, and that pretty much ruined it. Those are what we call homophobes nowadays. But yeah, like back in Roman times, it was okay to be gay, and people were very open about being gay back then, and it was perfectly accepted. Like, a lot of the kings back in those days were gay. A lot of, like, there was even a Roman god of homosexuality because of it, and we talked about that on the channel in a previous episode. The Roman god of homosexuality. There's an episode on our channel called that. Back in pirate times, it was okay to be gay. But back in Jesus' time, when the Roman Empire was happening, again, perfectly fine to be gay. And a lot of historians believe that Jesus was at the very least, bisexual, because there's a lot of hints that he had gay partners as well as women, or like, sort of. So, he kind of hung around 12 other guys all the time, but not a lot of women. So it's like, at the very least, he was bisexual, if not 100% gay. So yeah, that was kind of cool information to find out. And so it's like, oh, it's a sin to be gay. And then it's like, so the guy on the cross in the front of every church that you go to, yeah, gay, by the way. Might as well be just wearing a fucking rainbow flag. Like, so maybe shut up about the sin thing, because it's not a sin. If God thought it was a sin to be gay, first off, why didn't he write any homosexuality in any part of the Bible at all? Why was it only put in there when a translation was made up of the Bible years later by a bunch of homophobes who changed the wording of it? Why did God never mention homosexuality in the Bible? That's weird. And then why did he let his son be bisexual? Wouldn't that be, if you're against being gay, right? And you're against homosexual activity, and you're like, I'll let humans decide their own path. Why would you, if you're literally God, why would you let your own son be that? It's like, yeah, guess what they don't teach you in religion class? I wonder why. Like, history is fun. Also, it's like, hey, George Washington? Yeah, bisexual. Like, they don't teach you that in school. They teach you about his wife and his kids, and they teach you about all that. And then they're like, we're going to conveniently leave out the part of all of his boyfriends because that doesn't suit our narrative that we want to make the world straight. Here's the thing. These religious organizations have their finger on the scale with millions of dollars of influence for politicians. America's fun. So yeah, George Washington, bisexual. Benjamin Franklin, at least bisexual, if not gay. Jefferson was thought to be gay, at least. Yeah, so like 2 or 3 of our founding fathers, gay. They don't teach you that in school. Yeah, look it up sometime. It's very fun. We're gonna make episodes on it. But we don't want to do like history episodes right now because history episodes, we need 31 history episodes for October, and we're sort of just like sitting there going like, we could do a history episode right now, but we need 31 history topics for October, so let's just save them up. So we'll be covering all that in October. But yeah, it's like, so here's the thing. When Washington became the first president, when they were fighting the British Empire for control of America, basically, and for the independence of America, what you don't know is that, also covered in one of our other episodes, I think we called it Julius Caesar was bi. I did not know that one, but well, see, okay, there's a comment on here is like, and Jesus only hung out with white men. Jesus wasn't white, nor was any of his apostles. A very racist person drew that. Yeah, so like back in those days, where Jesus lived, right? Now, there's some Jewish people who don't believe Jesus was actually the Son of God. They believe Jesus was a real man. They just don't think he was the Son of God. But still, if you believe in the Bible at all, the Bible takes place in like the Roman Empire. It takes place in Bethlehem, as you mentioned. Yeah, like the whole Christmas story is like Mary and Joseph went to Bethlehem and had baby Jesus. And it's like, you do know that no one in Bethlehem, no one was white. Like that's like the Middle Eastern kind of area, like the world. Yeah, look around. Nowadays there's white people there, but back in the day there wasn't too many. Because yeah, just how the world worked back then. Just how it goes. So yeah, all the depictions of Jesus probably black. He lived in Israel, which is still anyway, yeah. So there's a lot of people that what I was saying before is we have an episode on our channel called The Gay Man Who Founded America, right? So when America was fighting the American Revolution against the British Empire, right? The Americans were losing terribly. They had very little organization to them. And so they were losing the battle against the British, and they knew it, right? They knew if they didn't change something soon, they were going to lose, and the British were going to win, right? And so what they did was they brought in this other guy who was a Prussian man. He was fired from the military over there because he was gay, or believed to be gay. And so then George Washington asked Benjamin Franklin, hey, we're losing this war. We need help. We need someone different to help us win this thing. And so Benjamin Franklin just happened to have a Prussian man who was gay. And he was very good at very good at heading armies and stuff, so military. So he brought him out, and George Washington met with him, and he's like, great, you start today, good luck. And so this gay guy led the American armies into battle, and he ended up writing a lot of manuals that the military followed back then. And funny enough, nowadays the military, when you join the military nowadays in America, you read the exact same manual. I mean, there's more to it now, but it all started with that guy, and it was a gay guy. And so then because of this guy, he organized everything and won us the American Revolution from the British. And so he's single-handedly responsible for winning the whole freaking war. And then the history books are like, we're not going to talk about him because he was gay. Yeah, everyone understands gay people are written over history all the freaking time. Anyway, so what ends up happening is George Washington, who's bisexual, goes, you know what? You're so good of a guy, and you helped us win this whole freaking war. So, guess what we're going to do? We're going to bring you on as my chief of staff. So, George Washington picks this guy as his first ever chief of staff in America. The first ever chief of staff in America was a gay man. And the first ever president was a bisexual man. Think about that for just a, like, when they're talking about, like, oh, Pete Buttigieg was the first openly gay presidential candidate to ever run for president in the United States of America. That's true. That is still true. I'll get to that question in just a second. But that is true of, like, he's the first openly gay. But the key word in there is openly. He's not the first gay president. He's not the first gay cabinet member. He's the first openly gay cabinet member. He's the first openly gay presidential candidate, because George Washington was the first gay president. His chief of staff, who was the head of the military guy, he is the first he is the first gay, senior advisor to the president. Fun facts with Matt. History is fun, kids. Also, I was asked what's my favorite video on our channel. Oh, good Lord. Well, tonight's episode is the most shared and retweeted and most anticipated episode we've ever had, which is crazy, by the way. I did not expect that to happen. So that just proves to us that we should probably do and expand our content a little bit into talking about other sexualities and genders a lot more, which we're going to do very, very soon, which we're doing this year. My favorite video. Okay, so I would probably... I don't know. Sorry, you're making me very happy right now. Let's see. I would probably... Like, here's the thing. There's a lot of different types of favorites that I can have, you know? One of my wrenches is ace, one of my wrenches is non-binary, and one of my wrenches is bisexual. Yeah. It depends on what kind of favorites you're talking about, because if you're looking for, like, what happened today, that was the first, like, 20 minutes of the stream. Rest of it's just been fun time. But, no. If we define... I did see the trans kid on American Idol. That's awesome. It's just adding more representation to our community, which is awesome. Okay, like... No, it's not the word for hoe. Wrenches means, like, an administrator. Like, monitoring the comments, making sure everything's LGBTQ friendly. And they're able to delete comments if they're not LGBTQ friendly. They're able to, spot things that I don't always get to spot while a live stream is going on, because there's so many of them, so many comments or whatever, When you start having 20,000 subscribers, there's a lot of comments every day, and so it's impossible to, like, oversee all of that by yourself. So a wrench is something next to someone's channel name that's like, yeah, they're an admin of mine. But it depends on what you mean by like the favorite video of all time, because if I go by like what I'm most proud of, then I would say something very recently on the channel, you know, because I think we always improve our show over time. Like, I'm very, very proud of our Gayborhoods episode last week, because as you do a show like this week in and week out and do 300 episodes so far, like, I learn and grow over time, and so I learn how to say things a little bit more clearly. I learn how to cut out the space between my pauses. I learn a little better how to edit videos, how to do better graphics on the show. I learn all these things over time, and we do better and better over time. So if we define favorite as what I'm most proud of, then last week's episode is what I'm most proud of, because that's what I learned the most on, you know? And that's what I'm putting out there. I'd never want to put an episode out that isn't what I'm most proud of so far in my career. Because if I put an episode out this week that I'm not as proud of as last week's episode, why am I making content then? Why put that new video out then, you know? So I sort of see it as a mentality of, I want everything to be as good as possible, and I want to learn as I grow and evolve here. But if we defined my favorite video of all time as like what I had the most fun in filming or in making, then you're probably talking about, probably last year we filmed a Pride event in Pottsville, where that was like the best day of my life was when I went to my first ever Pride event as an openly gay man. But then last year, a Pride event in I used to live years and years and years, like 12 years ago now, I lived in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, a long time ago. But with that, that's where my uncle also grew up, and he wasn't able to come out as gay ever in his life. And years ago, that's just how it went for his generation, and he died before I was born. And I heard all these horrible stories of that he was never able to come out. And so when this Pride event was happening in Pottsville, the organizer of it got in touch with me and said, like, hey, you're an LGBTQ activist. Do you mind being our keynote speaker for the event and giving a speech? And that was the most amazing moment of my life, where not only for the first time ever was there a Pride event in my old home. I did not mind driving miles to this to this town for this Pride event and bringing all my film equipment and bringing my whole crew there. I really didn't mind, because it was such an amazing event. Like, this is the first ever Pride event in my old town that, I mean, as a kid, I would have loved to see that in my town, you know? This was the first time it ever happened I think it was the first Pride event within an hour distance from where I used to live. And so it's like, I mean, this is the first time. In order to go to a Pride event back when I was a kid, you would have had to travel 2 or 3 hours to get there, you know? All of a sudden, now it's in my hometown, back where I used to live. It's like, it's crazy, right? And also, not only is this event happening, so I'm fully in support of it, but it's also like, I get to be the keynote speaker. I get to be the guy giving a 20-minute speech at the event. I get to be behind the microphone at this thing because of what I do for a living. And it was just such an amazing moment. Like, I remember, like, the videos on our channel now, I did the whole broadcast of Pottsville, PA Pride event, where we literally broadcasted the entire day, every moment that we could, of it. on the channel. This year there's more content to come because we'll have other cameramen there, but I also segmented out each individual speech or each individual performance, and that way, people can share them as well. But my entire speech is in a segmented channel, and probably that was the most fun for me to do ever, because, and that's probably my favorite, because in the beginning of my speech, when I first initially walk out on stage, you can see me, like, I made this speech up where I walked out on stage and I said to people like, hey, all of my cameras for my company are here filming for our TV show Powered by Rainbows, so smile for the and I told everyone, I'm like, we need a thumbnail for that video, for YouTube, and so I'm gonna take my phone out and I'm gonna take a picture and a pan I was about to say pan-romantic, but no, it's a panoramic photo of the entire audience. And I'm like, this is going to be the thumbnail of the whole video, guys. Everyone smile. And it's like, it was really cool, because I was like, this is going to be, I knew this is going to be the thumbnail of the whole broadcast, but I also was taking that photo for me, because I was like, hey, so like, I want to remember this moment more than anything in the world, because this is not only a Pride event in my old hometown where I used to live, but this is also a Pride event that I get to speak at for the first time ever, and I'm able to give back to my community in such an amazing way now, and this is somehow what I'm doing with my life, and I'm so proud of it. Like, I'm proud of every video that comes out on this channel, don't ever get me wrong, but that was like a moment where I'm like, I get to see people that I'm affecting in real time, and I get to, give a speech to an audience that means the world to me, and I knew I'm speaking to thousands of people online at that moment, but I also knew that I was talking to, like, as soon as I got there that day, we were setting up everything, and as soon as people start coming in, I realize a majority of the people that are actually at this event are not adults. They're all kids who already know they're LGBTQ and are already able to be as open about it, to come to a Pride event. And that was just beautiful. I literally broke down crying so many times that day, so many happy tears that day. I literally just ran out of tears by the end of the day. But that photo that I took in the very beginning of my speech, just a panoramic photo of the whole audience from the stage's perspective, it's probably single-handedly the best photo I've ever taken. And keep in mind, like, I'm a photographer that's delivered over 300,000 photos to my clients, like, that's a lot of photos to deliver, and for that to be like the single best one I ever took, and it was on my phone, like, nothing beats it. Nothing in the world beats that photo. But that's the single greatest day of my life, because, I mean, like, my coming out is gonna be in the top 5 there. My first Pride event that I ever went to is gonna be in the top 5 there, but the first time I ever spoke at a Pride event where I was like, well, now I get to be openly gay, I get to go to a Pride event, and I get to speak at it and give back to this community that means so much to me, and I get to give back to my family. It just meant the world to me. So, like, probably that video on our channel is my favorite of all time. That was a long answer, but I hope you understand why it had to be. I'm sorry, rebellious. I keep calling it a panromantic photo, but it's a panoramic photo. Sorry. I mean, it's funny to... Next time you take a panoramic photo on your phone, just be like, it's a panromantic photo. No one will notice. Your family, I'll be like, what? And then you're just like, I get to hide my pride. Look, photos love everyone equally. Yes. Blip says, I'm a transgender guy. Awesome. Well, you're valid. And thank you for being here. Okay. My internet connection is bad, but I hope you know that your videos are helping people get to Pride events. Well, that's what we're here for. Also, that's the thing. Like, I made a post, what was it? A couple days ago, when Fail Race shouted me out. Fail Race is a channel that has like 500,000 subscribers, and they just like shouted me out. And then Fluke the Husky did a very similar thing, and he has like 100,000 subscribers. And I made a post on my personal Facebook that day, and I'm like, because of days like this, like, not only do I get to plan bigger things in the future for the channel and to help more people, but I also get to plan for this YouTube show, this educational network that we're building. I get to plan on this being my life career, you know, and my full-time job one day. Like right now, this is a part-time job for me, and it doesn't pay the greatest, but I don't really care about that. I just need enough to live on, and then I'm like, hey, that's the thing. The moment YouTube and this educational platform make enough for me to survive on, I don't like need extra spending money. I'm just like, you know what? Goodbye everything else, because this is what I really care about, you know? But that's the thing. For a lot of people... What? Klaus Benson says, Matt, have you blocked me? You have to apologize that I spelled it wrong. Matt, have you blocked me? What? If I blocked you, then you wouldn't be able to comment on this even. What? I don't think I did. Yeah, if I block you, you wouldn't be able to comment on anything, let alone a live stream. So, you're not blocked here, at least. I mean, I hate when people say that love is love includes... No, it doesn't include pedophiles. No. But you cannot see the content on PBR? Okay. I'm legitimately asking at this point, because I'm so confused. How are you watching this then? But... couple questions for you. How old are you? Do your parents control your YouTube account? And are you open to them about being LGBTQ? And are they accepting of all that? Because if you're young, if your parents control your YouTube account, if you're not out of the closet to them, and if they don't accept you for that, they might be able to restrict what you're able to watch on YouTube. And that is something we're also going to talk about in a future episode called how YouTube helps and hurts the LGBTQ community, because parents are able to age gate and on YouTube, which in general is a good thing, but it also means that parents are able to say, hey, I'm homophobic, I don't want my kid to watch LGBTQ creators, so it blocks everything LGBTQ. Fun times at YouTube. Rebecca says, yeah, YouTube is doing it for most channels at the moment. It has been a glitch today. So maybe that's a thing. Oh, you're 34 and you don't talk to your parents. So then it might be what Rebecca was talking about. I don't know of any glitches on YouTube today, but Rebecca says a lot of channels it's happening to. So that might be true. Because glitches sometimes happen in only certain countries or whatever. Pillcrow says, my YouTube isn't letting me look at any channels, so I thought my Mac was just dying. So yeah, it's happening all day to other people, so. Yep. Anyway. Alyssa says, Matt, do you see that me and me, what? Hold on. Hold on. Matt, did you see that me and my color guard team said, hey? No, I didn't see that. Did you? I'm sorry. But hey. Hi, color guard. By the way, my bestie, Becca, that I was talking about earlier, she's an old color guard flag person, so we love them here. Matt, me and my the Williamsburg color guard team says hey, and also I recommend that they watch your videos because you're amazing. Oh, thank you. We are in an awful lot of schools at this point, so a lot of you guys don't know that YouTube is actually the smaller of the platforms that we're on. So every week when we make a new episode, we do send it out to YouTube and to Facebook. We upload every episode to Facebook as well. But we also provide episodes to GSA clubs around the world. So YouTube is actually the smaller of the audiences. Granted, Facebook is a lot smaller than the YouTube platform, but yeah. GSA clubs are definitely how a majority of our audience watches the show. Probably not your internet. It's probably a YouTube issue, because if it's happening to a lot of people with a lot of different channels, then it's probably a YouTube issue. YouTube has had a lot of issues recently. Also, they're a platform that over like 400 and some odd hours of content gets uploaded every second to their platform. So I don't really blame them for having glitches every once in a while. If there was that much footage coming into my website, I'd have a couple glitches on my website too. Panromantic photo Matt 21. I like it. But yeah, so anyway, we're gonna be ending this stream in a couple moments. So if you got any questions that you want to ask, leave them right now, or wait until the next stream. As I said, tonight at midnight Eastern time, we're gonna be going with the learning about aromantic, asexual, and Black Lives Matter premiere on the channel. I will be hopefully here for that. If I don't fall asleep by then, shouldn't happen, but you know, I'll try to be here for that. In the comments, at least, it's about an hour and a half long. If you're watching tonight live with it, you can also watch it forever on replay as well. But there's a lot of information in there, a lot of great topics also in the video. If you scroll across, like if you're watching it tomorrow or something like that, if you scroll across the play bar, you'll be able to see each and every topic that we covered in the video, and it has it sectioned out. So if you're like, hey, I want to get to this specific topic or this specific question that you left on our previous episode asking for questions for our aromantic and asexual activist, all of those sections are sectioned out for you, so you can go to a specific area of the video where we covered a certain topic. I might be under 5 feet tall, but trust me, this little gremlin man knows how to fight and have a loud voice, so I will be a good addition to the proudest, I think. When should you start when should you start taking testosterone? You can start that, I believe, at any age above I'd have to check with our trans activist on that. But if you're wondering, legally speaking, at what age you can start doing that and taking testosterone and hormones or puberty blockers, all of that, excuse me, is in a video on our channel called The Science of Being Transgender. So if you look up Powered by Rainbows, The Science of Being Transgender, or if you just go to our channel and scroll through our videos, or if you go to our playlist tab and click on the Coming Out Advice playlist on our channel, that video is included in that playlist. If you go to prideclassroom.com, that's PRIDECLASSROOM.com, and click on transgender topics. It's listed there as well. But yeah, in that video, we talk about the exact process of how early in life you should start testosterone or hormone blockers, or puberty blockers, I should say, how early you legally can start them, and how early they recommend you start them. So all of that scientific stuff is in the video there. I'll admit, we do so many scripts every year. We do about 150 episodes every year. That episode came out a couple months ago, so I could tell you something right now, but I don't remember every script we do. I remember I remember when we cover a topic, but there's a lot of times on the show where even I look back and I'm like, hey, like I remember putting that in the script here. I just don't remember the exact number, you know? So I have to look back at my own scripts. So just because if you ever think about it and you're like, oh, I watched this video, but I don't remember. Hey, it's okay. Even the host of the show doesn't remember everything. So it's impossible to absorb all of this information and not forget some parts. So, you know, I always reference back to our old videos that are like, yeah, I remember I did that episode, but I don't remember the numbers, so like go back to that one. Anyway, I think it's 16 for hormones. It's younger than that. It's when you can start talking about surgeries for. That's at 16. I think I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I know a lot of gay stuff. The trans, the gender stuff is stuff that I refer to my team members on a lot. Kit Kat. Oh my God. Kit Kat with a super chat for $5 says, never fear, for I have arrived. What's happening? Thank you, Kit Kat. Kit Kat, you're just... Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. What? I get so happy anytime people are supporting the channel like that. Okay, thank you so much, Kit Kat. Everyone say thank you to Kit Kat in the chat. Yes, Kit Kat is Pog. Rebecca, that's the worst. So, we almost had an ending to the show, and then Kit Kat arrived. No, I try to end my streams. If you've ever watched one of my streams, I try to end it like 20 times, and then I'm like, but there's this other thing we can talk about. Anyway. What is the airspeed... What the fuck? What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I don't know. I know the airspeed velocity of something else. What? Okay. Nope. Again, Rebellious is gonna get so mad at me. You look like a... I can't talk today. You look a lot like my uncle, and it's distorting my reality. Okay. Do I? Okay. Well, I don't know what your uncle looks like, so I'll trust you on that. Has anyone ever calculated the speed of gay? That's what I was going to talk about earlier. Not the speed of gay thing. Anyway, no, rainbows. Okay, here's interesting fun fact for you. You know how when you look at a rainbow, it's like an arc, like this, right? And you think, oh, it's like a half circle, right? Turns out, rainbows aren't a half circle, they're a whole circle. Who knew? Oh my God, right? No, rainbows are a full circle. Here's what happened, right? So, recently, yeah, I know, it's mind-blowing, right? So, and something that's even cooler about it, and I'll tell you about that in a second, right? So, so someone took a drone, like a camera drone, right? And they flew up in the air through a rainbow just to like see what a rainbow looks like from above, right? Does it look like the same or what? Found out that like what you're looking at a rainbow is the horizon line of the earth. And so you're only seeing this part of the rainbow. But in reality, when you fly a drone up really high, you can tell the rainbow is actually a full circle over the earth. And because of that horizon line, you're only able to see half of it at a time. And so that means there is literally a rainbow halo on the earth. Tell me God doesn't approve of that now, right? Like, the rainbow is a symbol of the LGBTQ community, and there's a rainbow halo on the earth that God put there. Okay, yeah, it's really a sin to be gay. Yeah, dumbass. Freaking homophobes. Anyway. It was not on the other side of the earth, it's just there, but you're only seeing the horizon line of the earth. Anyway, I mean, leprechauns exist. Scotland. I don't know. Yeah. So, we talked about what today really means in the first like 20 minutes of the episode here today, and then everything else has been like just we're gonna have fun today. So the Equality Act is being voted on in the House of Representatives, and it's gonna supposedly pass the House, Senate, and President's desk within a couple months. So hopefully we'll have the Equality Act in America. And Dr. Rachel Levine is getting confirmed today, so that's exciting. And she'll be the highest ranking transgender official in the United States government. So that's cool. So there's a lot going on. Plus we have the most anticipated interview of all time tonight on the channel for a romantic and asexual and a spectrum activist coming on the show. So that's all happened tonight. A lot is happening today. A lot in 24 hours. Plus, just yesterday night, I uploaded a 24-hour episode. So that was a thing. Which is why I'm using my phone for this live stream instead of my computer, because my internet is not very happy with me right now. It's like you uploaded a 24-hour video yesterday night and you want to stream live video today? That ain't happening. And so I'm like, yeah, my phone's better. What's your opinion on Dream and like gay jokes they do? I have a lot of gay dreams. Like, a lot. Like, ones where I'm cuddling with boys. It's very, very nice. I like cuddles with boyfriends a lot. And cuddling with puppies. So I have a lot of very gay dreams about that. Oh, Dream is a YouTuber. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. I didn't know that. Dream. Okay, hold on. Oh, it's a Minecraft YouTuber? Well, Dream is a verified account on YouTube and has 18.6 million subscribers. So of course I approve. Welcome, Dream fans. No. uh, although I'm very angry at the fact that they have 18.6 million subscribers and they did it with only 107 videos, and yet on our channel we have over 300 videos. So right now we are working on, where's it at? I'm very, very jealous they did that. Only 100 videos. I'm guessing they have more content. They just privatized or something. Right now we are working on our 320th episode. So, yeah, that's a thing. So we have slightly more videos than them. And we have slightly less subscribers. Just tells you how much YouTube loves advertiser-friendly and kid-friendly videos compared to LGBTQ videos. Ain't that weird? Something we're going to talk about in a future episode next month, on how YouTube helps and hurts. I approve very much of Jelly's channel because Jelly has 20 million subscribers. Welcome, Jelly fans. Also, I love Jelly's content, so. Also, I mean, not gonna lie, Slogo Man's kind of hot, so. Anyway, can you tell us more of your gay dreams? If I told you more about my gay dreams, Rebellious is gonna, like, rebel against me. So, yeah. I don't want my mods leaving me. No. Who wants to sign the Get Mad at Boyfriend petition? I mean, here's the thing. We're like, we're almost at like 25,000 subs now, right? And still, in all of the people that follow this channel, and you don't even know the extent to it, because on Facebook, I also run a platform. I help run a platform that has 30,000 gay people. And so it's like, between all the platforms that I am in charge of, I am responsible for like, what, 60-some thousand people see of LGBTQ content. And in all of that, I somehow still don't have a boyfriend. I'm like, I literally attract gay people. And then they're like, but not you, though. I want to be verified, too. Let's make that happen. Probably because a dream is faceless, and people have a thing for faceless YouTubers. Also, Minecraft, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, if they're making that kind of content, yeah. No. I want you to stay rebellious. Cuddle. I will say, I have a lot of cuddle dreams. Also, okay, story time before we leave. Story time. So, anyway, I'm having this dream one day that I'm on a date with, I have a lot of dreams about Troye Sivan, not gonna lie. And Troy and I were like, there's also another dream that's with Grayson Chance. If you ever watch him on YouTube, he's also a very famous gay pop songwriter. Very good, by the way. But there was this one dream where, okay, so I'm like my other, like, thing is I'm a furry, right? And I'm a puppy. And I consider myself to be a gay Labrador Retriever named Monte Deloso, right? And so, like, if anyone in public ever calls me a Monte, I'm like, oh, okay, hi. And then my family's around. That happened to me once a while ago. I was like, uh, before we leave 20 centuries later, I'm sorry. No. So no, I'm literally out with my family one time, and my ex-boyfriend at the time calls me Amante by accident because that's my preferred name around boyfriends. And so I'm like, oh, what, honey? And my family's like, wait, who the fuck is Amante, right? And why did you respond to that, you know? And I'm just like, oh, it's a pet name that we have. Uh, Not even realizing the pun at the time that I made to them, that it's a pet name and I'm a furry and I'm a puppy, which was pretty funny. Anyway, so I'm like, oh no, it's just a pet name that he has for me, like, and Amante is Italian for lover, and it really is Italian for lover. What they don't know is Deloso, the last name of my preferred name, is Italian for bone. So put those two together. Anyway, so anyway, we're I'm a furry, and I'm pretty open about being a furry now because I feel very welcome and accepted in this community that we built. Anyway, so I'm having, like, long after the last relationship ended, I have this, like, dream, and I'm for some reason in, like, a basketball court of a college. I don't know why. Um, it, Also, it kind of does. It's very nice. My other job outside of running my own company is working as a freelancer for a news station that films college basketball games with a lot of hot guys walking around without their shirts on. It's very nice. Anyway, so probably was thinking about one of those stadiums that we were in. But anyway, I'm like in this. Matt, have you had your sons commissioned / drawn? My sons? I don't have any sons. Oh, for saunas. Oh, I'm working on a reference sheet right now for myself, but I've had a lot of fans submit, like, fan art of my persona kind of stuff, which I absolutely love, by the way. And I even, like, printed a lot of it out and put it in my bedroom because it's really nice stuff. And I'm very, very grateful for that. But bye, Jaden. Thanks for joining us. Also, cool dragon. Cool being a dragon. So anyway, Rebellious, you know you can take that video down if you want, and you don't have to come out. No one was pressuring you that day. So no, I mean, like, so I was having this dream. Can you how pastry, Matt? What? Can you how pastry? I don't know what that means at all. Oh, you were saying bye to someone else. Bye. Bye, A. I'm sorry. Anyway, so at this rate, the rest of the day is going to be watching this stream. I mean, maybe. I'm not gonna lie. How old am I? 28. Birthday July 3rd, 1992. So, July 3rd, I turned 29. I feel old. Anyway, but no. So I in this dream, I'm in this basketball court. I don't know why I'm there, but there's no one besides me and Grayson Chance there, right? And which is not a bad dream to have in general. But then I'm like, all right, for some reason, I'm not my human self. I'm my persona self completely. So I'm just a puppy. And So then I'm like on the half court line with him, and he's like just throwing a tennis ball around the entire court all day with me. And that was my dream. And it was still one of the happiest dreams I've ever had. So yeah. People are like, how do you know you're a furry? I'm like, well, I've literally chased a tennis ball around in my dreams at this point. So, like, it's not really a debate at this point. And people are like, but furries just sexualize everything. And I'm like, tell me what's sexual about chasing a tennis ball around a basketball court. I don't know. It's just fun to escape reality for a little bit and just be something else, you know? And also, like, what puppy do you know that's sad? Like, a puppy is generally pretty happy. So yeah. Oh my god. Okay, Wolf on Fire. I saw your profile picture there, and I legitimately thought it was Odin Wolf's profile picture, and I'm like, holy shit, Odin Wolf just joined my stream. But it's still pretty cool to have you here, by the way. It's just, I mean, Odin Wolf is like one of my favorite YouTubers, so yeah. Wait, so you were as your feral self or like an anthro self? Wait, what's the difference between feral and anthro? Hold on. Oh, no, not a feral self. I was like an anthro self. I mean, like, I was chasing the ball around with, like, on all four of my paws. Also, okay, so, like, Becca fully knows that I'm a furry at this point, and she's very happy about it. She very much accepts me for whatever. But my family doesn't really know that yet. I mean, okay, to be fair, my dad does, because, like, he's seen my bedroom, and he's seen my first sauna outfit, my fursuit, and he's seen, like, my pride flag and all of the fan art of puppies all over my room that fans have made for me now. So I think he knows. But no, I'm around my sister one day, and also we're doing a live stream because today was a very big day for our community, and in the first 20 minutes of the live stream we talked about all that, but ever since the first 20 minutes of this thing, I don't know how long we've been going now, it's all just been a fun hangout session, because why not? Some friends didn't accept me, but I only need my family and my best friends, and of course my girlfriend. Good for you. Yeah, if anyone doesn't accept you, push them out of your life, because you don't need them. Only have people around you that support you for who you are and who you love. It's been 2 hours already? Has it really? Wait, has it really? No. Anyway. How long? Oh my god, wait, hold on. It's been like almost 3 hours. Holy crap. All right. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. No, my sister, like, I was hanging out with. No. I'm sorry. It wasn't my sister. It was one of my ex-boyfriend's sisters. We were hanging out for a while, and all of a sudden I said to, like, my ex-boyfriend, because I was with him at the time, and we were, like, on a walk and stuff like that, and I, like, reached my hand down, and he's like, wait, what are you doing? And I'm like, and it was just an innocent, like, we just didn't know what we were doing at the moment, you know, and I just and I'm like, I'm trying to have you hold my paw, and all of a sudden his sister just, like, turned around, like, paw? Wait, you just said paw, not hand. You said paw. And I'm like, I meant hand. And she's like, yeah, but but people don't normally say paw as an accident. What? And then, yeah, so I think she knows. But we just like got on to the next topic, and just my ex-boyfriend was really good about it, and he's just like, so anyway, about lunch today, and his sister like got distracted, and so I think it's cool, but like, I don't care. Hey, puppies are cute. Who wouldn't want to be a puppy? And if you have a problem with puppies, I have a problem with you. Because I'm like, well, I want a puppy one day, so like, if you have a problem with a puppy as his sister, well then, maybe I don't need to be a part of your family. I have a question. Are you a furry? Yes. Puppy. Labrador Retriever. Named Monte. Maybe that explains why I have ears at my desk. Yes. This is like the mini fursuit. Like, this is like the accessory thing, but then the full fur outfit is like a lot better. Matt, I went on a walk for like an hour and a half. It's really cold in Michigan. Well, why are you going for a walk in Michigan then? Come to Pennsylvania. It's a lot warmer. Today has been like 70 degrees out. I want to be a puppy. I want to be a fluffy sheep. Also, like, I don't understand why people have a problem with furries. I have one more question. Do you watch anime? Not really. I watch some of it because my friend watches it. And when she's over for like a hangout, we'll watch it. Yeah, it's like freaking 60s, 70s out. But hence why I'm wearing a tank top and a fan's going down there. If you hear that in the background. But no, we got no, so I legit don't understand why people have a problem with furries. Because it's like, all right, if you ever tried on a fur, like a fur outfit, first off, it is so comfortable. And then secondly, I've never had a boyfriend that was a furry too. So it's kind of one of those things where I've been like, oh, I kind of want that. But also I'm like, I would love to date a furry, because think about how comfortable that would be to cuddle with every night, or just in general. Just be like, cuddle up next to a big furry, like, so comfy. And that's the thing, a lot of people don't learn that I'm a furry in the first couple videos that they watch of me. So they're like, oh, okay, yeah, yes, Fluke and Tyrox is the ideal relationship, yes. I mean, they always say, like, don't idolize their relationship so much, because off camera they fight, and they, not all the time, they're a normal couple, and couples fight, every once in a while. They're like, he said on a stream before, like, he's just like every other couple. Him and Tyrox have their cuddle moments, they have their great moments, they have their funny moments, they have their fights, and they have their compromises. They're just like every other great couple, but don't idolize them and think that they're perfect all the time, because the only part that they show you on videos is this perfect life, where they're getting along and they're all happy. Don't see that and think that's 100% of the time. It's never that way in a relationship, because it's two different people, and you make compromises, you can get along. That's what a relationship is. But yeah, Fluke and Tyrox, like, first off, if you ever seen Fluke or Tyrox out of fursuit, holy shit, they're hot. Yeah. But in all seriousness, like, they're a really good couple. So, yeah. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Chocolate. Um, Technically, chocolate milkshake is my favorite thing to have in the whole world. Okay, that's not true. That's not true. Yes, Tyrox's little like Tyrox sounds are adorable. Oh my god. Also, what I wouldn't give for a tail like Fluke's, so cute. Curl Gang, you know, I'm a part of all that. So like, I'm like, yeah, Curl Gangs are awesome. Well, okay, so technically my favorite drink is something I'm not allowed to say on a stream. Um, Second would be a milkshake, with a chocolate milkshake, and then third would just be chocolate milk. That's an awkward moment to join the stream. If you're just joining now, people have a problem with furries because they think of them as kinky sexual thing. It's not. I mean, if you're an adult and a furry, you can do things in your fursuit, but it's not always like that. It's mostly just about escapism. And like, think about it this way. If you have a really bad day at work or at school or something, and you're like, oh, today really sucked, and I don't want to think about all the problems I just had at work or whatever, then you like put yourself in this mindset and this headspace that is like, no, I'm a puppy, or I'm this character, I'm this animal that doesn't really have to think about human problems, doesn't have to think about my boss or my teacher being an asshole. I just have to think about being a puppy, and puppies don't have these problems, and puppies don't have human interactions, little, you know. So, yeah, it's this headspace it's a lot nicer to go into. And so that's why, for a lot of furries, including myself, or as a lot of pup tribe members, including myself, it's a headspace we go into every night before we go to bed, and it helps us calm down and it helps us sleep. So, like, right before bed, you close your eyes and you're like, all right, I'm this animal. That's all I have to think about. And it helps you sleep. Matt, I dressed as a scout from TF2 the entire walk. As a scout from TF2? I don't know what that is. Hold on, I will look it up. A scout from TF2. Oh, cool. Nice. That's a cool outfit. Wait, Aishwara Chaparala asked. I tried sounding that out in real time. Didn't go well. Sorry. With or without whipped cream for the shake? Well, technically speaking, both of my favorite drinks could be with whipped cream. There you go. The more you know. Just call me Ash. Okay. Ashy. With or without? With, definitely. Did you know in Germany it is illegal to be a furry? And my friend wanted to go there now. Oh, freak. Really? That sucks. Yeah, don't ever go to Germany then. What's your favorite food? Dick's Sporting Good. No, my favorite food. Spaghetti. But only with meatballs. I mean, I could make so many gay jokes here, but... I mean, furries are just cosplayers. There's nothing sexual about it. Yeah. I mean, you could take it in that direction if you wanted to, if you're an adult, but yeah, most people don't. Sorry, trying to catch up. My ex was a lot Uh, I'm a cute kangaroo who's literally me. Oh, I like that. Um, Pups are literally just cuddle bugs and the best cuddle buddies. That's true. Pups also have very cute hoods that are very, very cute, and tails that are very fun. If you ever go to a pride event and see a puppy, don't ever grab their tail, and don't ever like try to touch their hood or their collar without their permission or their owner's permission. I don't have an owner yet. One day. And also, that's another level of like a relationship. It's like you like someone, you love someone, and then for like the pup relationships or furry relationships, it's like there's a level of ownership of like you're mine and only mine, and I own you, you own me, and that's how it's another extra level of love that you can have. So when I say like ownership, don't take it in a weird way. It's like it's another level to the love. I remember watching Matt stream while trying not to cry due to depression. Aw, well, you're here now, and that's all that matters. I think some people associate it with attraction to animals. No, that's bestiality, totally different thing. I mean, I do want an actual canine one day, but just as a pet, like not in a sexual way at all. I wouldn't mind if my boyfriend was a furry as well, or a pup tribe member as well, but totally different things. And I see that people do get that convoluted as well. All the furries I've met have always shunned it, so I don't know why it seems like everyone assumes like they do. That's true. House photo. Yes, really? What? Did you just... did that just happen? Wait. Hold on. Did they actually pass it now? Oh. Yep. Multiple articles are saying that it officially passed the House of Representatives. So now, as of tonight, the final vote was 224 in favor of it and 206 against it. Fuck those 206 people. 3 Republicans joined Democrats in voting for the bill. So that's awesome, awesome, awesome news. That the best news we possibly could have today. So yeah, as of tonight, it's on to the Senate, where the Senate will vote on it, hopefully very soon, and hopefully we will see it going to the president's desk. Because if it passes the Senate is the hardest part of this whole process, and it officially has a date on the Senate floor for a vote now. So that means, hopefully speaking, that's the hardest part. Biden has promised to sign it the day he gets it. So if it passes the Senate, it's only a matter of a couple days until LGBTQ protections are made a law across America immediately. So after the Senate passes it, we're only talking a matter of hours, not days or months anymore. Let's go ahead a little bit here because I'm kind of falling behind. Rainbows. A man fell for a man in Lego City. Cool. But yeah, so great day for America. Pass Equality Act again. That's awesome. Yeah, no, the Equality Act is awesome, and it just passed the House, so that's really great news. Yeah. Woo. Wait, what's happening? Yeah, the stream is like 3 hours long. Most of our streams are like 6 hours long, to be fair. But we're not going to go that long today. What's a Republican? I hope I spelled that correctly. Is that an American thing? Yes. Republicans believe heavily that the rich should be richer. The Democrats believe more in taxing everyone fairly. The Republicans feel that everyone deserves a right to own as many guns as they want. Partly why America has more mass shootings than anyone else. Anyway, let's see. Republicans believe heavily in militarization, and they believe against abortion. They are very far-right people who believe heavily in religion, typically speaking, whereas Democrats in America are like, everyone needs to be taxed fairly. Democrats believe that, you know, a woman has the right to choose on abortion issues and body issues, and birth control and all that kind of stuff. Democrats typically side with LGBTQ causes and say that everyone should have the right to vote and live freely. Republicans, typically speaking, don't like people immigrating to America. Democrats believe that America should be a more open, diverse country. So a Republican is very conservative. Democrat is very liberal. And as for me, and people like me, we're very in the middle, and we're called independents. So we see the good and bad on both sides, and we vote for the person we feel is the best candidate for the job that we want them to do. For instance, for me, my top priority is LGBTQ rights, so I vote for the most LGBTQ friendly candidate, generally speaking, up and down the ballot. But yeah. Wait, equality law just passed the House of Representatives. I don't know what to believe. I have very far-right grandma. Low-key, that's kind of biased description, to be honest. I mean, we're trying to be as general as possible here. So I'm going with the stereotypical, that's what they are. I mean, if you want to learn what Democrats and Republicans are in America, best idea is to look up what they mean. Now, recently speaking, Republican Party has changed quite a bit because of Donald Trump, but I still do work for both parties, if that helps. Like, as a videographer and as a photographer and as a graphic designer, I work for both sides of the aisle. So it's kind of nice for me to see both candidates and figure out like who I want to vote for personally. But yeah, I'm offering that description of both parties was very general sense. It's not like exactly, by the way. I'm just trying to summarize it as much as I can. What do you feel? What do you feel to the people that are anarcho-queerist? What? Okay. What is an anarchist school of thought that advocates anarchism and social revolution as a means of queer liberation and abolition of hierarchies such as homophobia. Wait, so what? It means tear down the system kind of thing? Is that what it is? People who campaign for LGBTQ rights both outside and inside the anarchist and LGBTQ movements. Is that basically what it is? I would need to research that more before expressing my opinion on it, really. I don't know. I've heard of other parties such as Green, Libertarian, etc. What about those? Green Party... I mean, Libertarian is more liberal than the Democrats, from what I remember from politics class in college 8 years ago. And I believe Green Party is more right-leaning than, and more conservative than. Wait, did Matt close his blinds? No, it just got dark in 4 hours. No, I have my blinds for my room, my office, are literally a rainbow flag. Not kidding. One of my blinds broke like a week ago, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna replace it for $10. I have a rainbow flag. Yes, this is sort of about the Equality Act. That's one of the things that happened today. Also, Dr. Rachel Levine. Did she get confirmed yet? Hold on. Rachel Levine get confirmed. It's saying that she was the hearing happened, but it doesn't say if it was actually confirmed yet, so I don't know about that one. I would imagine that would be a huge breaking story when it actually hits, so maybe that hasn't happened at this hour, but hopefully 1 hour soon. I'm not out yet. What should I do? Stay safe. That's all you can do right now. And just know that you have a safe place here, and you can talk openly here, and we offer complete anonymous comments, so we don't really talk to other people outside of here. So we're a very supportive community here. So just, if you want to come out, we do have a Vice videos and an entire playlist on how to come out on our channel. If you go to our playlist tab, we have an entire playlist there called Coming Out Advice to help you with that on every front, whether it's 35 tips to coming out, understanding what sexual orientation and gender identity are, understanding that it's not a sin to be gay, understanding that it's completely valid to be transgender or non-binary or gender fluid, etc., etc. We also have advice on what to expect after you come out of the closet, because a lot of people make coming out advice videos, but they don't ever tell you what to expect after you come out. All of that. But if you want to stay in the closet for right now, that's perfectly fine. Just know that you're not alone in there, and we are all here to support you. There are 780 million LGBTQ people in the world, so we're all here for you, and we'll be your family and support you. How's your day so far? I'm doing great. I mean, we just covered a story of transphobia earlier today on the channel, but, you know, I'm doing great. Because other things happened, like the Equality Act passed. Yay. So, sorry I dipped out of your V-Day stream. I was too tired. Hey, It's fine. Anyway, I mean, Jaden, my day has been better since Matt started streaming, thanks. Aw. Did you really? Rebellious, you're so nice. Thank you. I have the best mods. Okay. Thank you, Rebellious. I just came out as pansexual, and my am is okay, but I don't think my dad is okay about it, even though he says he is. It might just take time. It's one of our pieces of advice after you come out is it. Keep in mind, you spent your entire life knowing this information, and you spent your entire life trying to figure out this information. So it might take a day or two, or it might take a couple weeks for certain family members of yours who had certain gender or relationship goals in mind for their child, in the stereotypical and hetero-centered and cisgendered centered world that we live in, where you can only be normal if you're those things. Like, no, like it might take a little bit of time for your certain family members, especially of the older generations, to come to terms with it and understand it fully themselves. Anytime you come out to people, know that you don't have to explain everything to them. If they ask questions, you're more than you can answer any questions that they have. But if they start asking more deeper questions, you don't have to answer those. Like, when I came out, my family really just accepted me at first, and then after like a couple weeks, my sister started asking me like, hey, by the way, Matt, are you like a top or are you a bottom? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not telling you that, like, that's just for me and my future boyfriends to know about, like, I don't have to answer that question. Like, there are limits to what you personally choose to tell your loved ones. And it's like, hey, it's fine, so just know that if they want education, they can find it themselves. They can look up Powered by Rainbows just as easily as you can. So keep that in mind. So you don't have to educate people. You don't have to be an activist yourself. If you don't want to, you can just come out and say, this is who I am. If you have a problem with that, if you need to understand it better, here's this YouTube channel that can help you with that, Fun fact, in Cuba, if Fidel didn't have a sister, then it would have been illegal to be gay, because Fidel wanted to celebrate her sister's orientation. I hope I spelled that correctly. Oh, okay. Anyway, it has now been like 4 hours. I think so. Anyway, it's been a while. So I'm going to kick off the stream now. I'll see you in like 6 hours for the other stream. Maybe I'll be asleep. I don't know. Hopefully I won't. Because I want to be in the comments for you guys. But I'm going to head out now and have dinner. I hope you have a great night. See you in a couple hours. Also, yeah. Huge thank you to Kit Kat for the super chat. And huge thank you to Marshall John Blunt, who's coming on the show tonight. Thank you to Paula Johnson, Music X Al Moon, Paige Narst, OT John 06, and all of our members by joining that button down below or on Patreon. Thank you to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you to all of our moderators here on YouTube, including Rebellious Pastry, for helping us with the stream here today. Thank you to the United States House of Representatives for passing the Equality Act and doing the right thing. Look at you guys doing the right thing. Weird. Politicians listening to their constituents. And thank you all for joining, whether you Just whether you're a member or whether you're just watching and enjoying the show here today, thank you so much for joining us and for supporting our channel by just being here and being a part of this family. Anyway, yeah, I'm Amante the Equality Puppy. Have a gay day, everyone. Bye for now. Love you all. Oh, and see you in like 6 hours, you know, because we're streaming a lot today. Bye-bye. Wait, how do I end this thing? You know, that's always a great question to ask right before you end things. And this is the, you've asked it before, this is the true reason why I'm like, oh, it's ending, and then it doesn't end. I just don't know how to end it. You would think I know buttons by now. Anyway, have a good day, everyone. Bye for now. Love y'all.